Matt Redmond here. How are you? I am going to do a little mix breakdown on my track Like Clockwork. I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who supported the track. Really appreciate it. It was great fun to make, and there was a few production things that I was like, that's kind of cool. So if you also think they're cool, great, you might get something out of this video. But you also might be like, oh, I don't like what he did there. So if it makes you think, that's all I can do. So hopefully you can see the lovely Pro Tools session open in front of me here. So we're going to go through each track bit by bit, and we're going to have a little listen. So the first thing you hear, let me see if I can find it, is the ambiance. I think we've got it here. I believe this is a splice track. Couldn't be 100% sure though, but it's ESM card game _ambience _forest nature birds wind waterfall organic, you know, all the good stuff. I like ambient noises. I would suggest putting in like real life noises into your track just to be like remind you of the world, because you know you don't want to disassociate music too much. If it's this big massive piece with incredible soundscapes and noises, maybe a bit of realism will bring the listener back in. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Let's have a listen. Beautiful. That goes all the way through the track until the little dropout just before chorus 2. So yeah, wonderful. And then we've all heard the drum intro. It's just your usual bog standard drums. But we will move on to that next, actually. So let's have a listen to the drums. Here we go. As you can see, all programmed drums. Sometimes you just got to do the programmed boys. I had a lot of fun making these. I got the mad idea to go into Contact here. I'll actually do it with the snare, I think. So the snare is down here. I have a few bits, snare, hi-hat, some other bits and bobs. What I've done with the snare, essentially, you can see I'm using Get Good Drums. I've tuned it down in the Contact player. That was just an idea I had. You can hear how it is when it's not tuned down. Quite tinny. So yeah, I did that with the whole kit at first, and then I was like, okay, the kick is a bit too low. So I just tuned that down by 4 semitones, I believe it is. And then the ride cymbal is one of my favorite bits. Where is that? That's up here, I believe. Yeah, there she is. We'll actually just solo that for a second. That could be the ride cymbal, or it could be a crash. I think the ride cymbal is actually somewhere else, but anyway. You can hear it. It's lovely and low ride cymbal, which I think is really cool. So let's move on to the guitars. So if anyone's heard me talk about this song before, I've talked about it with Marlon in Dublin South FM on every Thursday at 11 a.m. Check him out. If anyone's heard me talk about this song, you'll know that it started with a single chord progression. And it started with a single chord, which was this chord. And I was like, I have to use that chord somewhere. It's a very cool chord. It's a big stretchy boy, you can see, called Stretch here. And then I paired it with this chord. I like this chord as well. That's a capo 2. It's a B minor 7th. And if you pop a capo on it, that's not a B minor, it becomes a C sharp minor 7th. But if you pop a capo on it, it can get some nice open strings going on, which is always great for guitar. So there is the 2 kind of bits. I put them together and recorded them. And I was like, oh yes, sounds good already. So I had that come back in my ears, and there's the first crash of the evening. And then I was like, okay, well, let's fill it out a little bit. I think I put this one on next. I'm not quite sure, but... And then I was like, oh, that's very cool. And I was like, I think I got to a verse. And I was like, I want something new here. So I put this boy, which is one of my faves as well. We solo that. It's the highest one. It's really nice, I think. So yeah, when we put them all together, which only happens from the second chorus onwards, we have that lovely wash of guitars. That's what I heard to make me go, oh, you should probably do something with this song. Because I was like, that's the kind of noise I like. And I think from that point I put on the synth bass just to kind of lock in the tonal centers of each of those, the root notes. And it's pretty basic. I think I just started with root notes and then I put in some nice fills. So let's have a listen. So just to kind of contextualize the chords a bit more, there's our lovely crash cymbals or ride cymbals, or a bit of both. So for the synth bass, I think this came free with my MPK mini keyboard hybrid. It's grand, like it's a synth plugin, but it has this nice clicky sub bass, which I don't like the clickiness of it, but if you kind of drag out, let's have a look here. Yeah, you can see here, if you overlap it just a little bit, you get, it's more legato. So you, it just slides, and that's really nice for these kind of fills here. Let's solo it for a second. And it's obviously linked to the kick with sidechain compression, so the low end doesn't get all muddy. Thanks, Richie Dietrich, for giving me that tip on the song when I sent it to himself and Jane for some feedback. But yeah, if we don't have that, you'll probably hear a click here. Yeah, you can hear that click as soon as it hits the kind of transient of the MIDI note. And just to have that all over the place, it's not nice in a bass. Sure, some people can make it work, but I was like, let's just overlap our notes and get rid of it. So we have this, and then we have it up here as well, like the smooth kind of runs. You know, I don't want to go off and make that all, I don't want to compare, but you can hear the clickiness. Cool, so that's, and then obviously a little bit of EQ, just a, you know, stock EQ. I don't think I had this plugin at the time, but I added it on just before I sent it to Get Massive, just to do some last minute tweaking. On the guitars then, very little going on. I have them sent, let's see, to this bus, which is a little bit of delay or reverb, sorry. Let's get that soloed. Boop, boop, boop. So that will sound like just a little bit of reverb, and then this free plugin, Fresh Air, just to really brighten them up, make them all like way brighter than not that they need to be, but just to bring out all those little acoustic guitar little things, you know. What would you call them? Artifacts. A little string. Acoustic guitar is quite a percussive instrument, so to add some brightness to it really brings out all those little bits. So let's move on to some vocals then. The first thing I came up with was the chorus. I don't think I even had like words, but the hook, the hook kind of came to me like, you gotta pull yourself together. I was like, that came upon me fairly soon, thank God. And then eventually Like Clockwork was given to me from the songwriting gods, whoever they are. So yeah, let's have a listen. Double tracked. There's actually no harmonies in the chorus, as you can hear. Here they are. Chorus 1, I believe this is. And you gotta pull yourself together, just like clockwork, and soon you gotta make it your forever. When you know your hope is on together. fades off into the verse. Now, I wanted to keep this one falsetto because another tip, Maddie Redmond tips and tricks video here. Differentiate your choruses. Listen to Attention by Charlie Puth and Hanging by Nothing But Thieves. They're the two examples I can think of off the top of my head. Each chorus, there's a little bit of development, a little bit bigger. And Charlie Puth has a YouTube video on this already, so don't take my word for it, take his word for it. So the way I did this, two new vocal takes, and it's just a bit more that kind of, well, I'll just play it.
You gotta pull yourself together, just like clockwork, and soon you gotta make it your forever. When you know you hold the song together.
And it fades off into the outro then. So you can hear it's trying to incorporate the kind of full belt as much as possible, and then a lot of grit kind of naturally comes through then. That's just, it's not a skill I have, it just happens. But again, we've got, in this course, we're competing with a few extra things. We got, for the first time, all 4 guitars together. We've also got the Celeste, which I'll go through in a minute. And then the second half of it, we've got strings coming in. So this grit kind of adds like natural saturation, a natural distortion. So it cuts through, even though like, yeah, it's getting louder, but that actually tricks the ear into thinking, oh, it's even louder because like there's distortion on the voice, you know? So anyway, that's just a little story on my vocal there. Can you tell I haven't done a video like this? I'm feeling very naked talking about myself so much. My goodness, haven't done that so much all my life. But anyway, let's oh yeah, and then the verse vocals. Let's go back to them. So verse vocals, big contrast. I don't know if I wanted a contrast, but what I did want was kind of a conversational tone. Like, what are we talking about in the song? We're talking about putting headphones on our head. So like, you know, you kind of have to be a bit more chill with the delivery. That's what I thought. So like, what do we got here?
Walking out as the wind hits my face. I lock the door, put my headphones on to forget about this place. Took out my phone to say that I am on the way to you.
So yeah, it's just kind of it's almost a bit of my Irish accent coming through there as well. I just wanted to be nice and relaxed, you know, and kind of relatable. If I was going like, walking out as the wind hits my face, just doesn't sound good, you know. If I wanted soulful as my keyword or like powerful as my keyword for the verse, it would just be like, it would juxtapose too much, you know. So nice and conversational. Same with the second verse. I'll have a listen.
Days go by and the nights roll in, but a smiling face will replace the lights that have gone dim. Oh, and the pain your heart starts to show again for me.
Cool. So that is the second verse. Now, when we get into the other takes, it gets a bit funny. And the original idea I had for that last bit, you can see it's kind of spliced in there, like a lot of it. But anyway, we won't talk about it. Let's see. I think this is the original idea I had for that last line.
Pain your eyes starts to show again for me.
So you can hear it's just like, again, it's just not quite right. The pain you hide. I don't know where I was going with that, but either way, it did not stay in the track. We have a couple of different ideas then. I think this is where...
The pain you hide starts to show again for me.
So again, we're getting a bit closer to what actually happened in the track then. And then we have some takes, I think, of the actual the vocal melody I wanted.
Oh, and the pain you hide starts to show again for me.
Again, getting a little bit closer. Let's have a listen to this one.
Oh, then the pain you hide starts to show again for me.
So yeah, there's all little bits of it coming through there, but then the final one I landed on was what you hear in the track, of course.
Oh, and the pain you hide starts to show again for me.
So yeah, I was like, I think I did that one, and I was like, that's the one, you know? It was soulful in all the right places, loud in all the right places, and then back to this kind of falsetto idea. We'll have a little listen to this funny one as well. As you can see, like a few vocal takes, there might have been a few more as well. I tend to record, if I mess up, immediately undo. So with this one, I didn't quite get to do the undo job on it, but have a listen.
The days go by and the nights roll in. A smiling face will...
Jesus is right, yeah. That happens. Voice cracks. Any vocalist will tell you, they just happen. So we'll move on to the end of this, actually, while I think of it. There's a little click. This is just a YouTube sound that I've used many times. It's just a cassette tape. I think I hired the pitch of it a little bit. This is buried in there as well. This was an original idea I had to end that verse in a kind of cool way. There was a few of them going on, but I decided to just go with the final product instead. Strings, then, what have we got? BBC, they're all frozen, so I have less crashes, but strings are the BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover. They're great. I would recommend getting them because they're free. They don't work in all songs, but they're very large. A lot of reverb in the room, so they sound quite big. If you're looking for intimate, not quite the job, but this song is quite reverby and large. So here they are in the second verse. And they just kind of add another texture and give a bit of interest to the ears. And then again, they come back in for halfway through the second chorus until the end.
Just like
You can obviously hear them swell in there. For the outro, lots of fun stuff going on. Shout out to Derek Cronin for showing me how to arrange strings back in BIM in third year. Anything contrary motion, anything the violas are doing, anything at all kind of was I picked up from him, and he was a great teacher. God rest his soul. So also in this BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover is lots of fun toys to play with. The Celeste, I think that's how you say it. Celeste, who knows? I just make the music. I don't know how to say things. Right, this is coming in the chorus, and it's mimicking the main guitar line. So have a listen. Some sparkly boys with this plug-in directly on the track, because I wasn't arsed busting it out. Don't really need to. cutting off a lot of low end because again, this plugin, if you keep the low end in, it's just so large. So much reverb built in. So I cut a lot of that out. The particles, probably in every one of my songs ever. Again, it is a Contact plugin called Noir by Native Instruments. Is it by Native Instruments? I'm not sure. I think so. Let me see. What is it? Well, it must be. Yeah. It's this boy here. It's a piano plugin, but it also has this cool particle feature, which I recommend looking up. Have a listen. They're very subtle all the way throughout, but again, it just adds some ear candy to what you're listening to, you know? Cool. And what else have we got here? We did the bass. Oh yeah, the real bass. Again, I wanted to make this verse. This one, the first verse doesn't have bass. The second one, I was like, let's make it more human. The real bass gives a bit more of an impact. All the little human things, bits out of time and all that, you know. Oh yeah, and there's tambourines. I would recommend putting tambourines on your snare. These are fake ones, but if you can get a real one, even better.
Lights that have gone dim.
Love it. And then that comes back in here, which is very exciting. Let's have a listen again. They come in on the offbeat snares, which I think is fun and exciting for everyone. Then the last bit, maybe, we'll see. Should have hidden all these guitar solo takes, but you can see it's all kind of spliced in. You know, we're living in 2022. No one's doing guitar solos in one take, you know, except Guthrie Govan maybe. But yeah, I ain't him. Here's the solo. Cut off there, but the guitar solo even goes a bit out of tune at the end. Keep that stuff in. It's all human, you know. You'll hear even there's bits here. Let's have a look. In the outro, or just before the outro, maybe there is bits in the acoustic guitars. These are in a group. Here they are. I don't know if I'll catch it. I don't know where exactly, but this. You'll hear little string buzzes and stuff, you know. If it's not just one guitar in your song, and it's not just one guitar and vocal, like there's 4 guitars here. There's drums, there's bass, there's guitar solo. No one cares about those little string buzzes and all that. Like, just leave it in. It's all human, and it's all what makes you. It's what people want to hear. So much auto-tune and all that stuff. Quantization. Like all this stuff that dehumanizes music. But at the end of the day, people want humans. You know, they want people they can relate to. And if someone sees, you know, someone making a mistake, or even just like having a slightly out of tune guitar, or just like, you know, sometimes you'll hit the guitar so hard that it'll go out of tune. And if you show that passion, you know, it's almost more relatable than sitting there strumming perfectly. You know, Jimmy Page is a good example of that. He just beats the shite out of the guitar and it sounds great. And by the time you get to the Black Dog solo, he's out of tune and out of time, but you know, it's great. We love it. So yeah, that's where that's my thought process on this. Here's the little lo-fi guitar. Yeah, just running things to Isotope Vinyl, a free plugin. Get it for yourself. It's fantastic. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. And let's see, I think that's it. Was there anything else mad? What is this thing? Oh yeah, chimes. Of course, chimes with an auto pan. They're great crack. I think they're from a YouTube video as well. It says DJ Swivel percussion chimes. Check that out on YouTube. Thanks, man. Don't copyright strike me, please. This impact was supposed to be. I got an idea from a good producer friend of mine called Mateus Koznik, otherwise known as Poor Petal. I sent the track to him, and the only kind of suggestion he had, which he's like, "I'll do it if you want, man, but like it's grand," to put like a different kind of impact in the choruses. So obviously your bog standard is your crash or your ride cymbal going into choruses. You know, just it tells the listener, new section, you know. But he was like, well, think outside that. You know, that fits the bill quite well. But he was like, think of another impact you can use. So I was like, ooh, that's interesting. I tried it. It didn't quite work out for me. I didn't have the patience, or I just, you know, if he had sat down, he probably would have been like, there, it's done, perfect. And I was like, great. But, you know, I didn't pursue it. And I don't know. Could have worked, but here's what my... That was the one idea I had. If we hear it in the song, let's have a look. No, it could work if it wasn't so shite on my end, but that was the little suggestion I got off him. Yeah, so that is it. Thanks for watching this far. It's a long old video, probably the longest one I've ever made, but I hope you picked something up. I'll just see if there's any other things in the old signal chain that are worth mentioning. I don't think so. It's all pretty basic stuff. Oh yeah, automate your what's it called? Reverbs and delays. You can see in the verses, reverbs come down, delays come down, pulls the listener in, makes them more intimate, just like the vocal delivery. Choruses, they go back up. You know, it's simple enough stuff. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just rolling on down. I'm so sorry, that was terrible. But anyway, on that note, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or any comments, please let me know. I'd love to hear them all. And again, go stream Like Clockwork. And again, thank you for streaming Like Clockwork. Enjoy your day, whoever you are, wherever you are.
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling